and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My voice is a little bit croaky. David Boy, I'm sure your voice would be a little bit croaky as well. We are reviewing our semi-final win against the Melbourne fucking Demons. We are reviewing after the game. We both just got home. Made sure as soon as we got home, we got straight onto the computer. Of course, Carlton with a 2-point win. We'll start off with Melbourne's score, 9 goals, 17, 71 to Carlton, 11 goals, 7, 73. Daf, tell me how you are right now, please.
Oh, mate, it's you're right on the voice department. The voice box is it's almost died out at 12:53. I think we can get through this episode, and then I reckon I'll pull the pin on the voice for the night. But seriously, man, I said to you just before, I don't think it's sunk in yet. Obviously, it's not. That doesn't mean I'm loving it. I'm fucking loving this, but it hasn't sunk in because we haven't felt this ever in our lives. We have not. First time since 2000 we're talking about here. Prelim final, 2000.
I wasn't even born.
We weren't even on this earth. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, all that time, all those years, we're young, but there's still a lot of years. A lot of things we've done. We've gone through primary school, we've gone through all that stuff without Carlton getting there. And we're 21 years old. And I'll tell you right now, it means even more that we've been through all that shit to make it now. I feel like that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's almost more satisfaction. Obviously, you don't want to go through what we did because as a human being, you don't want to be putting yourself through that week in, week out. But now it's the satisfaction of, wow, like, this is the other side of Carlton Football Club. And I think when the siren went and even when the players walked off the ground, it was unbelievable. Like, I was saying to my mum, I remember going to games, would be on the bottom of the ladder, it'd be dead rubbers, and you'd be hoping that Cripps had a good game rather than worrying about the result. You'd be going, oh, Cripper had a good game. Charlie kicked 3, Harry kicked 4, but we lost. Or, that was a good quarter. We were talking about that was a good half of footy. We battled. That's a good loss. It's all those words that have built up over the years, and seeing the crowd after the game when they're walking off the ground, it's the army. Yeah. Nothing beats it. Oh, I'm not even trying to be biased here. It's an unbelievable, the army, the Carlton army, even when we look like we were probably going to lose that game, they got around them. Every clearance, there's singing, everyone getting around them, pre-game, post-game, in tough moments. Because without that, they wouldn't be here today, for sure. Absolutely. When Agers kicked that goal, if the MCG had a roof on it, it would have been blown off. It would have been the loudest I've ever heard it. And it's just unbelievable, Patto. And we obviously saw each other after the game, which was a very funny moment. I was in a bit of, my head was spinning all over the place. And then I saw Patto, the light shone upon the patterns, and I was like, oh, it's Patto. It's Patto. And then, we were almost in a tussle for about 3 minutes there outside the G. But yeah, it was it's a good feeling, mate.
Oh, I mean, I don't know about you, but I was very close to being in tears after the game, and I still am very, very emotional. Yeah. Just what these, like you say there about how it's unbelievable, this feeling. That is the biggest understatement, because there's no word to describe how Carlton supporters
don't know.
We don't know. Because as you said, that the last prelim we've been in is 2000, and that I wasn't born. You were born a year after me, so we were nowhere near even being born. And now that they're like the Carlton army, when the best feeling is after the siren, when there's strangers coming up to you, high fives, giving you hugs, nothing beats it. And on because I was in level 4, that walk down, but he high-fiving. There is nothing in this world that can describe that feeling. There's nothing equivalent to that. There's nothing. And I thought that we would very clearly start off with, of course, the sheet. We are pretty much going very raw tonight. We just thought that's probably the best way to kind of get on the episode. Don't really have much structure as we usually would. I mean, it doesn't really seem like we have much structure most of the episodes, but we usually do try and follow a run sheet as much as possible. But tonight we have a few points. Other than that, we're just going to try and give as raw emotion as we possibly can. But Daf, initial thoughts. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of like how, I mean, not even to focus on this game, because the game is another story.
Yeah.
How proud are you of this group and how they've been able to turn it around from round 13, as we were talking about before we pressed record? That was the last game that we went to, and we were speaking about we're going to be looking at rebuilding, blah blah blah. We like how we've been able to turn that round is unbelievable. But what's your thoughts on how that's happened? But to see how the feeling that you had tonight, explain it to me.
Yeah, like you said there, you know, the last time we went to the footy together, that round 13 clash, you know, it was grim. It was really grim, and you know, you have the list. We know we've had the list for years. We've had the list for 5-6 years. We've known these guys can get the job done. A core group of players that can, you know, push for number 17, premiership number 17 for sure. And you know, we copped a lot of flack for that, for thinking that was the list. It wasn't clicking, and that sometimes is football. We've been through some shit, and for me, it's week on week. I can feel the momentum building. You know, from that Essendon loss, it was an all-time low. The Gold Coast win, a little bit of a bright light. Then it got to a Hawthorn demolition, Freo away, we win easy. And then it started to think, I knew from the Gold Coast game, there was something different. It was like this attacking, and then we did it again the next week, and then we kept doing it. We kept doing the same thing, and we're just like destroying teams. We destroyed Freo away. We destroyed Port Adelaide, who were on a 484 win streak. Like, seriously, people said, they had players that we destroyed them, beat them by 40, 50. And it just kept going, and we kept getting these scalps. And like you said, the being proud of them is not just for this game. Obviously, I'm proud of their heart today, but their journey they've been on this year, and let alone years prior to that. Yeah. Like, some of these players have gone through some personal fucking hardship. We're talking about Sam Doherty, who's been through absolute crap over his last 4 or 5 years, whether it's ACLs, cancer, all types of things. And, you know, Charlie with his knee, you know, Cripper. People are talking about his career being done 2 years ago, Patto. Like, it's you know, it's just so proud. And, you know, it was a tough time around 13, 14, and we let them know about it, because we weren't happy about it. And we were right to not be happy about it. And now we're behind them. And, you know, like I said, seeing that vision, it's like I'm in a dream, seeing the crowd all cheer Carlton off the ground in a prelim final. Like, we've done it. You know, we didn't let ourselves down tonight. And despite, you know, I felt like we were quite off in terms of ball use most of the night. Like, really, we were off our game. And I think, like Vossi said last week, I think it was Hart that got us over the line. Hart and probably late smarts. That's what I'm more proud of, Patto. That's that turnaround this year. Last 4 games last year, end of the game. What do? We kind of fell. We weren't ready. We weren't ready to, you know, win the game and solidify our spot in the finals. And this year, we've turned the corner. We've won the close ones. And tonight's game just shows it. You're down by 2 goals with 5 minutes to go or whatever, and they're pinging shots a goal. It could have been heads down straight away. And every kick out, they were looking forward. They were driving the ball forward because they knew they had a chance. You get 1 goal, Jesse Motlop, shout out to him. Fucking what a goal. And then Blakey boy, who his statue is being delivered to RSCA Park, I think.
It's like, even just that pause then, also, like, just the, like, it doesn't feel real.
No.
We don't know how to examine it. We don't know how to explain our feelings, because, as we mentioned at the start of the episode, we've never gone through this feeling. But you touch on there perfectly about how like there's players that have gone through absolute hardship, whether you go through the actual like life-threatening sort of like cases with Sam Doherty and cancer, and also the injuries as well with Curnow, Sam Doherty as well. But then you look at the mental side with Paddy Cripps, Jacob Wiedering, all these guys have been brought up with this through this rebuild, and there's not a lot they can really do about it. Like they've tried they've been trying their absolute like they've tried for 9 years they've been playing, but it's more than just one individual. The club needs to work together, and that's one thing that even after the Essendon game, we were both very much backing Voss.
Yes.
We weren't saying that he needs to go. We weren't saying that. We were saying just back these guys, because at the end of the day, they could have gone down the road where 2-3 years ago, we're not really performing. They're not really performing to how we really expect them to. Sack. But they stuck with Voss through that sort of period where now we can look back at that saying, thank fuck.
Yes.
Thank fuck. Because I reckon Voss is the person for this success right now. He has to be. Like, of course, in the higher ups, whether it's the CEO or the president, of course. But that leads down to actual like delivering on the park. Voss is the person who I think straight away to. But it's just once again, it is a feeling where like we're pretty much living on a high right now. We're pretty much living on cloud 9. We are right now. The sky's the absolute limit. Tonight, I was going into this game being, if we lose, well, it's a semi-final. We still do well.
Fair enough. Yep.
Now we're into a prelim. So we are now in a stage where our mindset is we've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Like tonight, we were playing against Melbourne. Heaps of pressure on them. Next week, of course, we'll touch on the preview later on in the early on into next week. But they are feeling the pressure as well because they've been shaky. And we are travelling over to the Gabba. They haven't lost at the Gabba all year. They have been very shaky in finals games. They have pretty much a home run right in front of them to smack. They have the ball in front of them to smack for a home run with a fresh team into the finals coming over to Brisbane.
Yeah.
But you never know. Because you know, and we know, every single Carlton supporter, if they're able to, will try their absolute heart. Like, they will go so hard to try and get a ticket to the Gabba next week. And it's just the loyalty. And it shows tonight. 96,000 at the G tonight.
Yeah.
Like, with a home game.
There would have been 75%
was Carlton.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
That just shows where it's the so of course you were in MCC, weren't you?
Yeah.
So how was it? Like, was it mutual around there?
It was a lot of Carlton. There was a lot of D. There was D's as well, but like even last week, of course, we versus Sydney, there was heaps of Carlton, but there was a lot of Carlton people, like especially around us. Like it was just craziness because usually it's pretty like 50-50 in the MCC. Obviously, a lot of D's fans are MCC members, so it's like fair enough. But yeah, there was plenty of blue baggers. It was fucking going off its tits after the siren, like you said, high-fiving random blokes and, telling blokes that we're going to win the flag and we're off the Brizzy and da-da-da-da-da. But, yeah, I said before, I think the crowd plays a massive role. Massive role in momentum. And even when we were, on the verge of losing that game and, Melbourne had the momentum, I felt like our crowd was much louder than theirs. So, shout out to everyone watching and shout out to all the members and everyone that was at that game because without us, I'm not sure.
Yep, well said. And also just to touch on, I guess, the very famous giveaway from Baggers Chat that we did earlier in the day. Credit to you, Daffy Boy, because I know that you were all over that and that was like absolutely fantastic what you did. So shout out to you. But Tracy Reed was the winner, so congrats
Congrats to you.
to you. But yeah, I mean, we'll try and get in contact with you very, very soon. But as I said, I'm gonna leave that to you. You'll know a lot more than me about that. But and also keep in tune for over the summer. There'll be a lot more giveaways coming, so make sure to try and tune into Bags Chat over the summer. But we're going to get straight into the defense, Daffy Boy. We don't. I mean, as we said at the start of the episode, we don't really have much of a structure tonight, but we're going to try and go through each line and try and touch on a few players. But Daff, from the defense point of view, Melbourne scored 71 points, but 9 goals, 17. So they did have their chances. But how did you see our defense group as a whole?
Yeah, it's like you said, when you say 9-17, I didn't realise it was that. Like my mind was all over the place during the game. I just didn't really focus on their goals and behinds. I was just focusing on their main score. I wasn't just, and then after the game, I was like, holy shit, 9-17. Yeah, I thought our defense was really good. I thought the first half, especially in the first quarter, we were taking a lot of grabs. Specifically Marchbank and Wiedering. We're really good in that first quarter. They're just taking a lot of grabs, and then I felt like as the game went on, I thought they just weren't grabbing them, were they? It was just a few moments where we just needed to take a few marks deep inside, and it'd just be like, oh, Marchie's got it, and then it would be like, oh, fuck, it's hit the ground. And I thought Newey was good apart from a few kicks he had. Fuck me. Oh, the year had 9 clangers at one point in the game, which is not ideal. But he had 30. Took 9. Had 9 intercepts. Led Carlton with marks, I believe, 11 marks. So, he just provides a lot for us, Newey, and we know how much how important he is to our team, and not just tonight, but as a whole in the season. Just looking through the names, really, I thought Sardi stepped up massively in that last quarter. That speed, isn't it fucking good when he grabs it in a pack deep in D50, and in the final stage of the game, no one's going to tackle him because he's just too quick. That's what he provides. And I thought Chincotta was massive in one-on-ones tonight. In the last quarter, I don't know who he was on.
I'm pretty sure he was on Cozzy Pickett for the whole quarter.
Yeah, because they switched because he was on Fritsch at one point. It was like I say, they switch. Depends how they go. But yeah, he had Cozzy, and I think it was a contest at the 50, and it was a one-on-one. It was just a massive punch he needed to do, and it was just textbook defending. I just love textbook fucking defending. I thought Wiedering was huge. He set up the goal, in my opinion. Obviously, it was Jack Viney who probably fucked it up in the end, who kicked it straight to Wiedering and probably lost them the game. But Wiedering's inboard kick, just one of that. Thought about it, bang, Hollands go. And Kempy was good. Apart from when I thought he was about to kick the winning goal from the boundary. I don't know what he was doing there. I was like, are you kicking the goal, or he should have just centered it? But there's definitely things to work on. Let's be real here. There's things to work on, I think, in the ball use department, in the whole 22. They need to fucking get to training and hit some targets and some decision making. But I said it last week, Patto, and I've said it for the last fucking 11 weeks. Learning when winning.
Yeah.
Learn when we're not talking about it right now, the review going, what if didn't make that mistake, what if? But as a whole, I thought we were good. 9-17 is probably, I don't know. I thought they were pretty solid. There was a few nervous moments in there, but they held up pretty well like they did all year. So, yeah, shout out to them.
But that's actually a really good point to put it about Melbourne. In my opinion, reckon they were actually quite solid.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and that I reckon defensively that last quarter, I reckon there was a point probably about maybe 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, can't score.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how are we going to win? And we were 2 goals down. So that's when, was this right? I don't know if it was around your area, but so in level 4, Carlton supporters were leaving.
No, what?
Carlton supporters were leaving, I swear.
So it was like
I don't know if it was because
maybe they were just nervous or something. Yeah.
But it was a moment where I don't know what the moment was, but there was I think it was Kemp. I think it was Kemp shot a goal, and it was this moment where And it's probably a moment where like, yeah, that's it. That's done. It was after that. It was the people in front of me. They started walking. I'm like, oh my God, they're leaving.
So much time. Yeah.
Literally, that's when I'm like, shit, there must not be long left. And there was probably about 8 minutes left, I reckon.
Yeah, it was plenty of time. Yeah.
I was shocked. And then like that's one thing about, I mean, all support. I mean, they may have had to get home for a reason. We don't know. But
fuck me.
You need to stay there till the very last minute because as it showed tonight, Melbourne stopped for a split second where defensively they thought they were probably doing well enough. Yeah. Probably started to attack a little bit more when they didn't really need to. They needed to try to defend the game a little bit more. That's when we just went bang. Just bang. And that passage, as you mentioned with Akers, that inboard kick from Wiedering and then Hollands to Doherty. Doherty taking the game, but taking it on. He didn't really have a blast. He saw Akers.
And he knew. He saw him and hit him. He didn't just kick it up in the air and hope. He knew he was going to hit him. That's what I loved about him.
Yeah. And that's one thing about Doherty. I always see him blaze, but he's one of the best kicks.
Yes,
he's one of the best kicks. So, like, I don't mind it sometimes when he blazes because I'm like, I don't mind it because if it's to start to get some territory, I don't mind. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes it's like, Doc, you're such a good kick. Like, and that just shows because that was from about 60 meters out, 55 meters out. Laced him out. Yeah. It's just like, absolutely fantastic. But as you mentioned before about Nick Newman, so he was, of course, leading marks by 3. So he got 11 marks. Nick Lever got 8. So game high, 11 marks, which is fantastic. But yeah, so it goes Newey, 11 marks, Wiedering, 8 marks. This is just Carlton players. And the other defender down there who was high in marks was Adam Saar with 6 marks.
Wow, okay.
That's pretty fantastic. But I think overall every player kind of had their moment, in my opinion.
For sure.
But now we'll move on to the midfield. Definitely, there are plenty of names to mention, but I want you to tell me your standout for the midfield. So, like, there's so many, whether you name Buddy Akers on the wing, Cottrell on the wing, Sam Doherty, Ollie Hollands when he came on was fantastic. But also, if you look inside as well with Cripper, Walsh, fuck me, mate. Unbelievable. But I'll leave it to you, Daffy Boy. I'll stop talking. Who was your favourite midfielder of the game?
The guy you just said then, he won us the game. I think Sam Walsh won us the game. That's what we've been dreaming of as kids. Our favourite players, our star players, standing up in the big time. Like 34-2. Just listen to this. I just read it on. That's what I was just looking at on my phone. I had a notification. How many pressure acts did he have? You reckon?
20.
43.
Nuts. 43 pressure acts.
8 tackles. It was some. I just read it on Twitter. Something like that. Some notification. It was fucking nuts, right? He had 8 tackles. Pressure acts are all sorts of things like bumps and all that fucking shit. 34 disposals. Yeah, legit. 43. 43, like 34 and 2. He was just, he's class. He's class with a capital fucking C, Patto. And yeah, I thought he got us going in the last quarter. When he kicked that first goal, I was like, we need a bit of something, bit of zip, bit of zazz at the start of the fourth quarter. And he took it upon himself going, I'm going to kick this goal. Yeah. I'm going to kick this goal. And he had some good celebrations to go with it, especially that first one, which was I don't know what it was. It was the I'm the best player in the league type stuff. But he was just solid, man. Like, fuck. Like he's probably based off that performance, you go, fuck, he's almost our most important player. Yeah. Like it's unbelievable. Last 2 weeks, he's been massive. I think tonight was his best game in a Carlton jumper. I think it was one of, like, probably in terms of the game, the stakes, and the impact, like craziness. And yeah, shout out to you, Walshy. He's been through some shit as well, injury-wise this year. And for me, if he plays all 23 games next year, he'll be wearing a Brownlow neck around his neck because he's better than all of them, isn't he?
Like, I was literally thinking tonight, I'm like, this guy,
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, changed the game. He
Yeah.
changed the landscape of that game. And as you said, it was the first contest of that fourth quarter. Walsh burst through, and as soon as he was lining up for that goal, I mean, it was a little bit close, but he goes through. And I think that has to be his best game because 34 touches, 17 kicks, 17 handballs, 6 marks, 8 tackles as well. 8 tackles.
Yes, fuck.
Of course, 2 goals, crucial goals. Goals. But, and of course, 8 tackles was the Carlton's game high, but also Clive Oliver was 9 tackles, so he was the game high. But what did you think of Blake Acres' game? Because a little bit quieter than what he has been, and I reckon that was a little bit down to Melbourne giving a little bit more attention to Blake Acres because he's so damaging. But when he got that last goal, and when he also when he got the earlier goal as well in the game, like that lead up sort of forward, that's a tall winger. But before we move on to the Ruck conversation, what did you think of Blake Acres' game?
For me, I think his impact doesn't matter how many touches he gets. I don't think his numbers I agree. I think his shoulder was buggered. Just really, really sore. And how about, did you see that at the start of the game? Neil Bullen trying to push his shoulder.
No,
that's why the whole fight started with Cripps in the first quarter. It was right in front of us. It was a contest, and I'm not fucking forgiving Neil Bullen, little fucking prick. He did it. Acres on the ground, did like a tackle, right?
Yeah.
So usually players just get up. He comes in from the side and pushes he knows his shoulder's fucked, right?
Yeah.
And he genuinely, that's why Cripps got in a fight with Neil Bullen. That's the whole. That was what it was. Pushes him. It's not good enough in our game. I'm all for a good contest and whatever. But that's just, and it's karma. It's karma because then Acres kicks the winning goal. But yeah, I think it was just his shoulder was fucked. But he'll play next week. He's tough as fucking nails, Blake Acres. 2 goals as well. Like you said, I've never seen a winger impact the scoreboard like he does at Carlton, especially the league. He was playing deep in the forward line with 40 seconds to go when he kicked the winning goal. It was like he knew that he kind of had to just stay forward because they needed to kick a goal. It was just really well read, and I couldn't believe he was open because I saw the one-on-one. I saw Dove and Fritsch, which was I was like, what was that matchup up forward? And then I was like, oh my God, Acres. And then, my mind went into a massive blur for a second. And then I thought he missed the goal. And I was like, oh my God. And then he could have chewed up 30 seconds, mind you, when he took the mark. But we'll don't worry about that. He put it through. But it was just shout out to him, seriously. I read the other day that he was offered the Dockers offered him a contract, 180 grand.
What?
A year. 180 grand a year. He told him to bugger off and wanted to trade, and we offered him 350, which is still a bargain for what his output is, and gave away a 3rd pick. For me, he's the best player to come in that last trade period.
Yeah.
Best trade of the year. You could talk about all your other shit tracks, Bobby Hills, blah blah blah. Blake Acres. We gave up a pack of chips. And they gave Luke Jackson $7 million year contract to get him to fucking 15th on the ladder. It's karma. It's a bit of karma, in my opinion. They said they could cover it. That's what the CEO said. He said it's a bad loss, but we can cover it. Well, will you be able to cover a premiership medallion? That's the real question.
And it's another conversation because Fremantle, of course, we're going to give Liam Henry a little bit more wing time, and now he's going to request a trade to Victoria.
Yeah.
That's another wingman. So, I mean, it's not really Freo.
It's all right, though. It's all right. They got O'Meara, whose career was finished 4 years ago. It's good. Good recruiting.
And they got Nat Five, who might be retiring in the next
they
few years.
re-signed Nat Five instead of signing Acres. That's awful. That's what it was. That's what it was. So
it was.
That 5 and then brought all the other guys in.
Yeah.
So they had to get rid of Acres. They offered him 180K a year, Patto.
That's 180, mate.
Like,
Even me, who doesn't even play for you, wouldn't accept that, mate. I'll be like, get fucked. I'm not fucking accepting that, mate. 200K plus, mate.
oh no, seriously, that is just crazy. What I read the other day, like it's really, really nuts. Like that's a proper low ball offer.
Yeah.
We've got him 350 a year for 3 years. Jesus,
Yeah.
and he's in his first year.
Yeah, and it probably shows his respect for himself as well, because obviously he knows his worth. So he's like, I'm not fucking worth that. But even like he could have gone to another club for a little bit more than 350, but he's like, well, it's like 350 is a little bit better. It's still not probably great for what I'm kind of producing.
Yeah.
Like last year, it was fantastic for Fremantle, but that's why it's even more staggering that he got after
nuts. Yeah,
a great season. But heading into this year, like he probably didn't really expect. Like he's been better this year than last year.
It's his best year, career best.
So I'm just so pleased that, as you said earlier, about we haven't seen a wingman like this, and I don't think right now I can't name another wingman who scores as many goals as Akers has. Because
maybe apart from maybe Goulden, maybe.
Oh yeah, Gordon. Maybe Josh Davis.
I think they're different. I think Goulden gets goals on the run. I think Akers is more like he turns into a key forward all of a sudden. They lost him all night. Those 2 goals, they lost him. That Hunter just could not keep him down. It was just because he forces you deep in defence, and then he defends you when you're deep in the forward line. He's just there. He is there, and his impact both ways is phenomenal. He's gut running, and also Walsh's gut running. He runs all day. His tank is unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Ruck conversation. And there were 2 names. There were 2 fantastic players tonight. It was Mark Pittonet and Tom De Koning. Mark Pittonet pretty much matched it with Max Gawn. If not, I don't think he beat him, but he definitely was up for the fight, which we kind of expected from Pitto.
Yeah.
But TDK up forward was fantastic. Around the ground was fantastic. Fantastic. When he got the opportunity to be in the ruck, fantastic as well. You mentioned him as your best on ground in the preview. He's pretty close to that. If not, he was best on ground.
He was the highest rated player on the ground.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I'm not really surprised. So, Right conversation, Daffy boy. What were your thoughts, and how important were these 2 men?
Yeah, you said it very well there with the roles they played tonight. I thought Pitto, he didn't have 400 touches, he only had 5 touches, but I thought his impact at the hit outs was enormous. That's why he's in the team. I don't want to hear any words. I don't want to hear anything. Do not want to hear a word about Pitto being dropped or Pitto da-da-da. He's important to the team because he can nullify really good ruckman. I thought Max was pretty good tonight. He tried to will him over the line. Apart from touching the ball on the line, Clary's shot on goal. That's another conversation to have for another day. But TDK. We'll just touch on it literally then in the little break we had. Wow, that is a man who is Carlton. He's Carlton now. He signed the 2-year deal, and then everyone's worried about him. Like, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He was never leaving. Why leave now? That's what I always think. You've been through the crap. Why would you leave when you get good? There's no point.
No.
There's no point. And he was just solid tonight. Those first 2 goals really got us in the game. The game could have really got away from us early. It was 21-2. If they kicked a couple more, then you go, gee, you were in some trouble. But really, really good from him. And he took an absolute screamer down on the kind of members wing, which was good to see. But if he starts to clunk him, I think we said it in the review last week. If he starts to clunk marks, kick goals, win hit-outs, he'll be the best ruckman within the next 2 years. And he'll be, like, seriously, the players we have on this team, the whole ground, we're lucky. We've got to soak it in because we've had some terrible years. Terrible years. We just got to enjoy it. Oh,
gosh. And also, just to the viewers, the listeners wouldn't have seen, but the viewers, I am yawning a little bit. It's 1:30 in the morning. So I'm fucking tired. I'm surprised you haven't been yawning
Oh,
more,
mate.
because I am fucking just about wrecked. But it just shows the commitment that we have for the podcast, because we're doing an episode at 1:30 in the morning. But beautifully said about TDK and Pitto and how fantastic they were and the impact that they worked together to beat Gorn. It was the
Yes.
and actually that was a question that I never actually really got I never really found out, and I didn't really look for it through the game. I don't know why. Did you see who the second ruck was?
Tom McDonald.
It was Tom McDonald.
He had every end of every quarter, except the last, he came on as the second ruck, and Max went off for 5. Yeah, because Max came off a few times right near us. And I was like, and then I was like, this is the time to make, get him. Well, Tommy, I said it to you. What are they doing? Like, I know there's not Demons chat, but you're not picking Grundy, who could have just been a second ruck.
Yeah.
Seriously. What's the point of not trying? What did Tom McDonald do tonight? What could have Grundy done less than what McDonald did tonight? Really? What did McDonald have? How many touches? 6 and 2 clangers, I think, which was a bad one at half forward, I remember.
Yeah.
Seriously, the selection table is so important.
Yeah.
So important. He could have just been a difference. I don't know. He could have done something, Grundy. He could have, I don't know. But fuck them. They'll have to worry about round 1, and Cozzy will miss the first 2 weeks because he's a dog. So, too easy, mate.
And I think with Tom McDonald as well, like, he didn't really impact the scoreboard either. So
no.
Again, he had he had a pretty poor finals game. But now we'll move on to the forwards. And we were speaking about in the break about who we're going to bring in, because Harry Mackay has to come back in if he's fit, of course.
Yeah.
And Jack Martin has to come back in. So these two are absolute locks in the best 22. They both have to come back in. And the guys that we kind of saw tonight, Matt Kennedy was in that half forward sort of role, playing that Jack Martin role. And on the other side, we saw Jesse Motlop, who was elevated from the sub last week to the best 22 this week. Yeah. Performed just to how I expected him to. He's a player that's pretty much born for finals. But to focus more on this game alone, Duffy boy, how important were the forwards tonight?
Yeah, I thought, I think in the second half particularly, we didn't drive our legs very often heading into the forward 50. We were just going long, and it was just working well. Like you said, I don't know how we would have scored the goals. I thought Stephen May was probably Melbourne's best, one of their best. I thought he absolutely killed Charlie. I thought could have been Charlie, one of Charlie's worst nights this year. I just thought he was taken out of the game. I know he kicked a goal. And that brings up the conversation with Harry. He's got to play. People say Charlie's better without Harry. That's just not fact. Tonight showed it. Last week showed it. St Kilda game showed it. All those games showed it, that teams are able to, try and can nullify Charlie. I know he's a superstar, but when you 2-3 guys on you, or guys flying over the top all the time, it's going to be tough. And yeah, for me, you look at the forwards. I thought Jesse Motlop was really good. Those goals are ripping goals, by the way. The check side one where he played on, and then the one where in the last quarter, those are moments you hope for, that your team. You see all other teams in the finals over the last few years, those big moments, you go, wow, that'd be cool if that was us one day. And he stands up, the young fella. What is he, 19, 20? Jesus Christ. I thought Matty Owies struggled tonight. I thought he struggled. I know he kicked a goal. I think he had 5 touches heading into the third quarter, but he kicked a very important one, which was good to see. And Fogarty, good pressure. He provides that pressure. We know he does. He struggled with ball in hand, but it's just going to be important, I think. And I think Chugga Kennedy was good when he kicked that goal. He's pretty good set shot, big chug. Yeah, it's going to be, it might be tough. He might have to be dropped, but we'll have to wait and see. I think we just got to enjoy the win for now and not worry about the negatives of dropping players. But I think Jack Martin and Harry Mackay will be massive ins for that game. And I don't think we can afford to have no Harry for mine. because they've got Harris Andrews and they're pretty similar defence to Melbourne. They're more of a team defence and don't play one-on-one as much. They get over the back and stuff like that. So we just can't allow them to take impact on the game. And yeah, Jack Martin had his feet up tonight. Harry had his feet up tonight, and they'll be raring to go and launch us into the grand final.
Oh, one win, bloody grand final. Just let that sink in to all Carlton supporters out there. Just let that sink in. So, but yeah, like once again, it's a good, like I know that we will, of course, touch on this for the preview where we will touch on everything and we'll kind of go into depth about it. But it's going to be very interesting what they do where they bring in Martin and Mackay. Because as you said, Kenny was actually quite good tonight. And there were other players there that weren't as good. So whether they keep these guys in because their roles.
Their roles. Yeah.
Exactly. So in my opinion, my initial thought right now, I mean, I know that we'll touch on it more for the preview. I just think Kennedy might have to get dropped. But I wouldn't mind him as a sub as well. I wouldn't mind him as a sub. So before we move on to the best on ground, I just want you to tell me how great of a game that was. I mean, I know in my point of view, that was by far my best moment as a Carlton supporter. Because, I mean, last week was my first ever final watching Carlton. And of course, I mean, I don't have a lot of moments, and I'm sure you are the same, Dr. Boy. But this game, what was your favourite moment out of everything? So whether it was the last goal with Blake Acres, whether it was a certain tackle or a certain just moment in that last few moments, or whether it was something completely different, what was your favourite moment in the game tonight?
It was. I agree. I think it's definitely the best game I've ever been to. Maybe not the game. I thought the game was, in terms of skill, wasn't great. Both teams, it wasn't the best quality game, but as a result-wise, it's obviously the biggest. We haven't made it this far in 23 years, so it's that pretty much tells the story, doesn't it? But yeah, is it moments? I think it was at the end. I think when Chera smothered the ball at half forward, and then TDK got it long, and then my brother had the the AFL app bloody going, like he was just shitting himself, like checking the time. It was like 14 seconds, and then it froze. The AFL app froze, so when Rivers took the kick out, it still said 14 seconds. So we were like, oh my god, oh no. Like I thought there was still time, and then the siren went, we're like, oh my god. But and then when Kennedy kicked it off the ground, it was just like, I was like, oh my god. Like whenever we get close to win, my brother always, whispers in my ear going, we're home, we're home. And we were home, and it's just, it's unbelievable. It's so much of a blur, I think, those moments. Like I couldn't, I don't know what happened. I think I actually knocked my brother's phone out of his hands, and it was going gangbusters at the MCG. But I think it's special to have those moments with people that you've been going to the footy with for years. I'd imagine you'd be the same with your mate Jacob. It's crazy. We've watched this team grow up. So it's I'm getting a bit emotional here, Patto, but no, it's good.
Yeah, it's actually a really good way to put it, because we kind of became members. I mean, Jacob and I, of course, were kind of members. I've been a member for a while, but we kind of joined members in 2019 because we wanted a reserve seat next to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
2019, we were fucking shit. And like we weren't watching that. Like we were just watching it. Yeah. We were just like, actually said at the start, like the episode, we were happy with Nick Graham having a shot at goal. We were like, yes. Liam Sumner dominating against the Giants, mate. Yes. And now, like 2020, of course, with COVID, we didn't get to go to any games. 2020 it was kind of on and off. 2022, better season, but not a great this year. Just it makes every single heartache that every single Carlton supporter has been through their whole life, whether you're young or you're old. Every single Carlton supporter that there tonight proves why we're the best club in the land.
Yeah.
I'm rambling. The whole podcast, this episode, I've been rambled. But he probably could stutter in my words the whole bloody fucking episode because I can't fucking speak. Sorry, I'm fucking lost my voice if you haven't already realised. But Daf, I need your best on ground. There were so many players that you could name tonight, but who was your best on ground?
Yeah, there's two names for me. I think in terms of impact, I thought TDK was, but for me, I think it has to be Sam Walsh. I think he turned the tide into our favour in that quarter, and when midfielders are kicking goals in big games, it's just 43 pressure acts. What are we talking about here, Patto? That's just ridiculous. We need to tell the guy to calm down. Calm down. 23 years old. I'd imagine he's going to be one of those players that plays till he's like 36, 37. He's got the tank. Like, he's that athlete. And yeah, he's pick one. We knew what we were going to get from him from the start. So it's really good to see. And shout out to TDK too, because he's definitely worthy of a best on ground.
Yeah. Now that it actually comes to my mind, in the preview, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I put Walsh as the best on ground.
Yeah, I think
pretty sure. I'm quite certain. I should have actually checked. I'm quite certain I tipped Carlton by 2 points. Best on ground. I've touched on it. I did change it. It was Paddy Cripps, but it's going to be Sam Walsh, mate. Sam Walsh is going to dominate on the weekend. Best on ground. I'm calling about 32 touches and a goal. He's going to impact the scoreboard. That's who I was going to touch on earlier. There was one certain name who didn't impact the scoreboard. He is going to kick a goal. It's going to be an important goal. I can see it. I can sense it. But winner plus margin. Now, I've tipped Carlton.
Okay. Tick.
You touched on there about a bit of a nervous sort of you don't want to go through another nervous game because last week, of course, we won by 6 points. The Melbourne game, we won by 4 points earlier on in the year. Carlton by 2 points at the MCG. It is going to be... I reckon I may have.
Someone get a fact check here.
I reckon, I'll find out after the episode where we start eating, but I'm...
Yeah.
Quite... I'm like... Yeah, I don't know, but... Walshy, finals player. He's a finals player, mate. When he kicked that banana, as you mentioned earlier on in the episode, with that little bit of a celebration, a little bit of a page, look at the figure and fucking turning the page, mate. It's like that. And when he kicked that, I'm just like, mate, this guy is...
Yeah.
This guy's Carlton. This guy's never, ever going to leave the club. Well, hopefully. No. Hopefully, he's never going to leave the club because it's so important. But I completely agree. I think the best on ground has to be Sam Walsh, and of course, honourable mentions to TDK because I think he was absolutely fantastic, and he was probably the point of difference in my opinion. I think he was absolutely massive. But Daffy Boy, we thought this may have been our last review for the season, but we are fortunate that we have another 2 episodes after this with, of course, the preview and the review of next week's game, and who knows what could happen after that. But 4. Before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else you would like to touch on?
Yeah, I was just popping it in my head. There was 29,000 people at the Gold Coast Carlton game. 29,000 we had at that game. And now look at the stadium.
Yeah.
The day was depressing going on the footy that day. It was 29,000.
Warranted, though.
Yeah, warranted, for sure. And it was just an eerie feeling of that game. I've never felt that bad. It was just, I've never seen 29,000 in the Carlton game. And then seeing that get ground tonight, 96,000, 75% Carlton. It's just great. And we just got to keep riding this wave because if you don't enjoy it now, we went through all that shit. If you don't enjoy that now in 10 years' time, you don't know where we're going to be. So just enjoy it while we have it. And whether we're in Brisbane or at the live side of the Icon Park, wherever we're going to be next Saturday or Friday, let's just beat these fucking Lions, eh?
Yeah, of course, it's actually been locked in that we are playing on the Saturday night. They locked that in a couple of weeks ago. So of course,
weird that because we get an 8-day break and then Giants or Port only get 6. So Collingwood really should be winning that game, but back.
That she could just back. Yeah. So of course, next Saturday, Carlton v Brisbane. So, as you said perfectly, I think if you can't get down to the game, right now, my gut feel is I just don't think I can. I don't think I can right now, just because like with work and stuff, just like it's hard to get work off, especially with such short notice. But I think you have to try and go to Icon Park if you're not going to go to the Gabba.
It'll be great. It'll be great. Trust me. It'll be
insane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, well wrapped up, and yeah, like what more can you say? Like genuinely, what more can you say? Because we've just beaten one of the top 4 teams, one of the teams that we've probably should be replacing in that top 4. Like
for sure.
Like I think next season either probably Port or Melbourne will probably drop out of that top 4. Maybe they both will, and maybe someone else will come through. But I think now it shows well and truly that we're definitely top 4 seeds, if not probably top 2 seeds now. Because maybe Pies and Lions, of course, are the top 2 seeds, but we are going to challenge Lions next week, and who knows? I mean, as we always mention, if you make a prelim, anything can happen. It's a new ball game, so anything can happen. But just absolutely fantastic. It's 1:50, 10-2 on Saturday morning. We're going to release this at 9 a.m. in the morning, so I'll try and get this up and running 9 a.m. in the morning. So that means that we have the whole weekend for the viewers and listeners to try and tune in if you are able to, of course. But to all the viewers and listeners for the whole season as well, Baggers Chat has grown tremendously this year, and it's fantastic to see that. And I think it's a big, I think the big reason for that is the successes of Carlton this year. But seeing people at the ground bumping into you saying, "Oh, hey Patto," or "Hey Daf," like great to see that. And everyone else, whether you follow us on social media, on every platform you see us on for podcasts and whatever else you see us on, who knows? But it's just fantastic. So to you, Daffy boy, and to all the blue baggers out there.
Up the baggers. The show goes on.
The show goes on.